they were so outraged because I said, it seems like there are probably a lot of feds in the crowd on January 6th. And now it turns out, of course, there were way more even than I imagined. The whole thing was a complete setup.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a lie, and it was used to put people in prison for expressing their constitutionally protected rights.
A 3-time Purple Heart winner.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Oh, and
they have no shame.
No, absolutely not. And by the way, what does it say about them? Like, I would never put someone in prison even who committed like a real crime, unless I really had to. I don't want to put people in prison.
Yeah.
I guess I'm the liberal.
Yeah.
I've visited, I was in a prison last week. They're very depressing. I saw Julian Assange in London.
I wanted to ask you
Wouldn't
about
put people in prison
No.
except for a very good reason. And they
talk about the
put him in
truth.
prison.
Talk about the truth being illegal. Look at he's paid for it with dozens of years.
Well, Assange has never been accused of lying or of fraud or of making money in some criminal scheme. Assange has been accused of telling the truth, period.
Yeah.
And they are torturing him to death in front of all of us. No one's doing anything about it. And that Mike Pompeo is a very, very sinister person.
Isn't he?
The worst. And I always thought that, and I've told Trump that. Never should have allowed him to run CIA or state. But Mike Pompeo tried to have him murdered. And that's a criminal act. He was not even charged with a crime in the United States. And Mike Pompeo was CIA director. This came out. Pompeo didn't deny it.
I never heard this.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely.
I saw it.
Oh, my God.
He tried to have Julian Assange murdered, poisoned in the Ecuadorian embassy in London. And that's a fact, okay? Wow. And it's been established and, okay?
Yes.
Why is Mike Pompeo not in prison? You're not allowed to murder people extrajudicially, especially when they haven't even been charged in the United States, which he had not been. Wow. So Mike Pompeo runs around to these stupid Republican donor events, and you're like a world expert on whatever, and he's a criminal. And he should be in jail. Like, if Julian Assange is in jail, how about the attempted murderer, right?
How about
what am I missing?
How about the people that put Julian Assange in jail? They should be in jail.
100%. First, they accuse him falsely of rape. So, that just shuts people down. Oh, he's a rapist. It's like kiddie porn. It's like, I don't even want to know more. You're bad.
Right.
But then it turns out there was not enough evidence to charge him. He didn't commit rape. That was a lie. He's never been accused of doing anything. By the way, he spent 4.5 years in prison in the UK at Belmarsh Prison, which is where all the murderers in London go.
Good God.
And he's never been charged with a crime.
Wow.
In the United Kingdom. To this day, he's not charged with a crime. He's being held at the request of the U.S. government, and he's just sitting there, and they're torturing him to death. I mean, he's, of course, dying, as you are when you've spent a total of, 13 years now in incarceration. So,
I wanted Trump to pardon him, and I was really disappointed.
I was disappointed, and I think Trump. I would say one, I think very fair criticism of Trump is he does tend to surround himself with some of the most mediocre people.
Yeah,
and I'm not.
I don't think he can find better.
That may be right, but I have to say Mike Pompeo, and I saw it up close, and I saw it intimately close, is a liar and a flatterer. Beware the flatterers. If someone comes up to you and says, I don't like you, fuck you, and here's why, I can deal with that.
I can too.
If someone's like, I really think you may be the reincarnation of the Godhead. I think you're Buddha, actually. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
That person is my enemy.
That's right.
Okay? That person is trying to subvert me.
Yeah.
Is trying to suborn me.
That, yeah.
There's something very feline and dangerous about that, and that's who he is. He's a liar. And he's the reason that I'm not speculating, he is the reason that Trump didn't release the JFK files, which implicate the CIA in the murder of an American president.
Right.
And
others.
And others, yeah. Yeah, well, true. Anyway, yes.
But, Trump, that's why I'll tell you that later. But
Sorry, you're getting me going.
Yeah. No, you're going where I want to go, and I'm already there too. But I wish he had done that. I think that all of us wanted him to.
And I think he knows that he made a mistake, and I think one of the.
I want him to say, if I'm reelected, I will pardon Julian Assange.
And also because one man's life is as valuable as any other man's life. I mean, we're all created by God.
The guy put his whole life on to expose to America the war crimes we were committing.
It's completely right. But that's not why they're holding him. They're holding him because... So there was the Afghanistan and Iraq files, including that famous video of the reporters getting killed.
Yeah.
So that was bad. It was when he released details about the CIA's a spying program they had, including on Americans. That's when Pompeo's like, we're going to kill him now.
Okay. Yeah.
So the CIA doesn't have
And
any oversight.
also, it's also about the hacking of the DNC.
That's what I think it
That's
is.
what I think they.
Because he named Seth. He said someone named Seth gave him the.
Yeah, so I asked him directly about that in prison. I asked him about Seth Rich. And he said, I'm not going to, and I mean this too, he did not budge on, I'm not going to reveal my sources.
Well,
but
that's great for him.
So
But-
that means it was.
But it's pretty clear that those files were not hacked by Russia.
No.
There's no evidence they were hacked.
That was a leak.
Right. That they were downloaded from within the building.
Right.
I think Bill Binney, from NSA, former NSA officer, pretty much demonstrated that. And they lied about that. And we wound up at war with Russia as a result of that lie. So, like, that's a pivotal moment. Well, I completely missed it, by the way. You know, at the time, Sean Hannity was all over it. And I was like, I don't know what that's about. I'm not getting involved in that conspiracy stuff or whatever. And then a couple years later, I happened to know some of the people involved in that personally, just because I lived there. And I knew two people involved in it, one who worked at DNC and another who worked on MPD, the Metropolitan Police Department. And both of them were like, dude, come on now. And I was like, really?